Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. Once more, we'd like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have today? Well, certainly one of the what they call fat tails in the market, and that is a move beyond the distribution. But, of course, we've been expecting that for over, I'm going to say, it's been close to a month. It's really always interesting to see what the last piece of straw is that's going to break a euphoric market. And I'd kind of given up on it for a little bit. I certainly was going to try to buy the highs. And of course, we talked about just how scary the market was with the summation indexes not being able to do anything other than go sideways. Showing that the breadth of the market was incredibly thin, relying on just a handful of stocks to drive the entire market. And, of course, just having the top 5 stocks being 1/5 of all the cash out of 7,000 stocks in the market. So you've got something that's really problematic. And, of course, no one had an opportunity to get out. I mean, they had kind of a little bit of a warning, but the interesting thing was that we didn't suffer from a lack of volume at the highs. It's not as good as you would like, but it was strong enough to make you think that we get a retest of that high. But at the same time, we had pretty good volume down at the low 3200s before, which suggested that you get a retest of that low too. Now, I know everybody's got a little theory about what's going on. The one that I find the most interesting is that China pushed this over the weekend and decided to weaponize the virus for economic impact. But we may not know for a long while why things happen, just that they do, and we've got to react to them. So what else do we have that we want to look at? Let's do a little history, and then we'll get into the charts, because I think there's one stock that's higher, and we want to talk about why the one stock out of all of those is higher today. And it's not a bear share that's higher. It's actually a stock that's higher. What could that be? Anyway, let's do a little history, and then we've got plenty of time to get everything else done.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1917, British authorities give Walter Page, the U.S. ambassador to Britain, a copy of the Zimmermann telegram, a coded message from Arthur Zimmermann, the German foreign secretary, to Count Johann von Bernstorff, the German ambassador to Mexico. Telegram intercepted and deciphered by British intelligence in late January. Zimmermann stated that in the event of war with the United States, Mexico should be asked to enter the conflict as a German ally. In return, Germany promised to restore Mexico the lost territories of Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. And, of course, Churchill trotted that on over, and that's what got the U.S. to get involved in the First World War. Most people thought it was rude to be looking at other people's emails and text. It's something today that we just to kind of take for granted, I guess. But they forgot everything between the First and Second World War and had to start all over. And, of course, it seems to be exactly that. That is that especially when it comes to affairs of international consequence, everybody's more than willing to forget the lessons they learned in previous adventures on this day in 1917. So what I wanted to get started with was the one stock that was higher. If I got it right. Come on, there we go. And it is a stock with the only actually approved treatment for the coronavirus out of China. It's Retrovins. Oh boy, I'm going to have to. I tried to pronounce it an hour ago, got it, and then I forgot it. Redvin something. I'm trying to remember what it was. Well, I'll think of it here. REVSEC, Reverstar. Yeah, I'll think of it later. Anyway, if you're wondering why Gilead's up and everything else is down, they have the one cure for it. Now, from Gilead, they're saying why this may work, and it may work on Ebola at the same time, because that's really what this drug that they have does. More importantly, 99 out of 100 people live anyway. So the consequences are probably not that different than the flu. And it looks like the big difference between the Spanish flu of 1917, 18, 1919 was the 50% mortality rate of that. This does not look that bad now that we get numbers, and kind of interesting to see that the market actually flipped. And of course, why the numbers are not getting smaller, the outright deaths continue to track that 98 to 99% not recidivism, but 1% mortality rate. So it's kind of like the world got the flu and everybody decided to go nuts. But there is a cure for it. But the question is it worse than just getting it and going through it, since there's only about 1 in 100 chance of you dying from it? Just like every other flu that we have every other year, the people that can afford to get the flu the least, the old, infirmed, and the young, are the ones that are more prominent to have more critical issues with it. But anyway, if you picked Gilead, you are a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. All other stocks are lower. So we'll talk about a lot of other stuff we've got going on today. Right now, the S&P is off 112, Dow 30, down 1,022, NASDAQ off 368 points, and the Russell down 50. We'll be back. We'll start looking at some of these stocks and thank the trading gods, because this tells us which stocks are the strongest and which are the weakest.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Well, to see which ones did good and bad, we're going to go through the losers to begin with, because there's so many of them. Of course, most critically hit will be any of those in the travel leisure business where people congregate. Earlier in the den, I said I was downtown Tampa over the weekend, and normally where you got, I don't know how many boats they've got down there, 6 or so cruise ships that I've always seen 2. So I think they have like 2 or 3 on Saturday and 2 or 3 that come in on Sundays and go in and out. But very quiet down there when I was down there. Generally, you've got a nice aquarium that I like to go to. And by joining the aquarium with a season pass, you get free parking. And the free parking is worth much more over the year than actually just paying for the aquarium. So go down there. Always a good thing to do. But check that out if you're ever down there. But not very many people. And when you're talking about February, it should be bonkers down there next to the cruise ships. American Airlines down, fairly decent volume so far, with hour and 40 minutes left to go, down on 15 million shares. The previous low was 21 million shares. So I think we're going to get that, but it may not be the blowout everybody's looking for. Align Technologies, another big loser, down. This gapped up with 4.1 million shares back on October 24th. The interesting thing on this one, though, down with just 1 million shares today. What you want to look at that one is about $230. That would fill halfway that gap where I like to look at stuff. AMD dropped like a rock, down on 61 million shares, but that's compared to the January 29th low of 113 million shares. So again, at least to this point, this is where we're going to start telling the difference between the wheat and the chaff, to go to a biblical reference. To Emprise Financial, AMP, previous low 750,000 shares, 450,000 thousand shares so far. Has not touched that low. You certainly were close enough. We're going to touch the low on a lot of these. I don't believe that you should do anything before you give. How much? This is up. Okay, we'll look at this. Gap up. Adaptic. APTV. Down to what is this? Okay, previous low 250 2.5 million shares. He said down with 800,000 shares today. Adaptic APTV. Check that one out. Bookings.com. Bookings.no. Already through the previous lows, and it's going to have plenty of volume to get back to 1755, the August 7th low. Okay, the Petri dish, which is Carnival Cruise Lines, did basically break the ice and jump through it and do a few hula hoops at the same time, and a flying, I want to say Walinda, but it's not, flying Lindy. With double the volume already through the October 8th low. CI, Cigna, down fairly strongly, but only about only about the same volume so far. It looks like 191.09 is the next possible low to test. Breaking previous low today, but not the volume just yet, is CNC, which is Centene, 8.4 million shares back on February 4th. We look at that, it's going to need 8. You're probably going to get kind of close, but not the end of it. Delta Airlines, he who dealt it, smelt it. Blowing through its previous December 3rd low of $54.54 with 7.25 million shares, already through it with 11.8, so it's done. Put a fork in it. Devon Energy through its previous low of October 21st at 5.9 million shares, already with 6.25. Unless someone comes in and buys these, they're all closing below the previous low with with better volume on some of these. Expedia, big gap down. This fills the gap from its earnings of February 14th, that it was up on 10.3 million shares, down on 3.3 million shares so far. So that one you want to keep a close eye on. Diamondback Energy, through its previous low of 4 million shares with 1.6 million shares. It is looking like it will close below that, but volume is not confirming. FCX, I've been looking for these miners to put in a big low fairly soon. This one's looking fairly close. You just, again, I don't think it's going to be over today. You're probably going to find at least a few more days in a test of all the lows today before this is all said and done. This, generally, when these moves move like this, you want to at least think 3 days before all the people that are on margin are forced out. Freeport-McMoran, January 27th, 44.5 million shares. $10.83, got to 11.02 today, but just 16 million shares so far. Halliburton, another gap down on this energy company, just another 30 cents to the November 19th low. Even the previous low had about 10 or 11 million shares. You got about 8 so far. So that one does look like it's going to have probably enough volume. Hess, this is kind of a little gap down, but no volume on this one. So gas stations, it still looks like gasoline will be needed to be put in cars. Who could believe that? Holly Frontier, another one down with previous low of 3 million shares on February 20th, $39.63. Like I said, 3 million shares. You got about 1.4 million shares now. So again, another potential stock to buy if this market does make some kind of meaningful low. HP, Helmerich, and Payne, feeling some pain, but no juice today. Lots of strength back in February 7th, 8th, 10th. With some decent volume, 1.4 million shares, down with 822,000 so far. Again, we want to make sure and check these at the end of the day to see if a bunch of volume comes in. That's it. The biggest robotics company, I think, is this Lincoln National. I think this is all the torch cutters and everything else, but I will check. All right, break. Also have some emails. We'll get to those on the other side.
If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And the first question is, why is Intel sat up a little bit? I'm not exactly sure, but I can give a guess, and that would be that there may be somebody sniffing around for buying it. The other two huge people that are going to be doing the same thing, i.e. having internet and phone service around the world, SpaceX, I think Amazon's talked about doing some of this, and there's Virgin Mobile. Everybody wants to put up a satellite. Basically what it amounts to. And the question will be whether or not you can get licensing for it. I think that Intelsat may be a buyout, even at these levels, just to get a hold of the licensing for broadcasting from satellites. But that's just a guess. I'll try to look at it this week. The other question coming in today is on the TLT. What's my thought on shorting it? I think, like I said, on everything here, you don't want to make too many decisions on the first day. We want to see how that volume comes in. But at a minimum, when you get these huge moves, you're going to have a lot of people on the offsides. You're going to have people that, we've been going up, up, up. So I'm going to assume that a lot of stupid people bought on margin. And those people are going to get forced out. You get about 3 days to get out. So I tend to have any kind of big move, more than about 500 points in the Dow, to just assume that the market's going to stay that way for 3 days. So my thoughts on the TLT are you had the bounce here. It looks pretty good. The volume's not what you would think for what looks like a fairly decent breakout. But again, let's wait till the end of the day. Maybe there's more coming. It's fairly good for this time of day. But the real answer on this is not today, but probably on Wednesday. So whatever you're looking at, I'm just going to say what you want to do is take a deep breath and start looking as many stocks as you can and how which ones are weak and which ones are strong. At this point, this is a gift, because if the market does not go lower, you've got all the time in the world in the next couple of days to spend and figure out which ones had the best relative strength, which ones had the most froth in them that got cut off. And remember, those people that are on the wrong side of it that don't have to cover because they're short or long will be just glad to get their cash back after this huge shellacking. So just give it a little thought, see which ones people are willing to keep in a very nasty market today. This is the kind of intelligence that is pure gold. Live Nation Entertainment, LVY, down with 3 million shares into a little less than 2 million shares back on the 31st. So another one where you can say, hey, that don't look good. We're back to the lows on Noble Energy. Let me get this back up here. This one is now retesting the December 26, 2018 low, $16.64. That had 7.2 million shares. You're in 3.7 million shares right now. So you may be kind of close to finding some kind of low in the energy fields, depending on what the stocks do. But pretty light volume so far. Again, we've got an hour and a half to go. These are just the ones we should be looking at. If they're light now and they're light at the close, those need to be going on your list. This is the time to be doing all the homework that you can get done. NVIDIA, we were talking about this one. Just fill the gap today. This gap higher was back on the 14th. I think that was the earnings date. You're back down. You were up on 26 million shares. You're down on 16 right now. So again, this filled it pretty good. Hard to see. Almost everything that NVIDIA does is in Taiwan. So unless we start hearing a lot more, since Taiwan is always afraid that the Chinese are going to come over and invade them, they probably have the least amount of problems right now with coronavirus. Even more action between the Chinese and the South Koreans. But this is all really a company built on Taiwan Semiconductor, building the chips for them and manufacturing, I think, mostly in Taiwan and mostly the assembly. To another cruise company, blowing out the previous lows of 1.8 million shares back on September 3rd, 2019, October 8th, 2019 for Royal Caribbean. Pretty much blew it all out with 5 million shares today. So you're going to close lower most likely, and with volume. To Ralph Lauren, I don't know if this would affect the stuff that they sell, but probably just a little bit of contagion from the rest of the market. Down with 1 million shares, and you're not anywhere close to the previous low of November 21st. That's 102.83. So you're 108.41 with the big gap down. That would be interesting. Maybe they make stuff in China. I do not know. This is all stuff where it's your first starting point to go out and say, okay, how did they do? Did they come down with lighter volume, and track them over the next couple of days? SBV Financial Group, I don't think you can say a lot about that. Schlumberger, again, you're back down to some of these lows with 17 and 20 million shares. Right now you got 10 million shares. So I think this is one of those sectors that looks like, you could see some light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not going to be for a few days. What else do we have out here? Tapestry, one of the, I guess we wouldn't call it a recent IPO, but certainly one of the last couple of years, down with the same kind of volume that it had on the previous low of January 31st. That was 5 million shares. Your next low comes in at $24.30. So another buck lower. Maybe the volume starts drying up there. Twitter, gap down. Not a lot of volume on this one at all. Of course, they finally turned around some of the earnings. There's a double gap here. $34.50 is exactly maybe $34.25. Right in that area is where you'd like that thing to come down, have light volume. If you think that they've turned the corner, then that would be a possible buy out here. Down strong, UNH. With some decent volume, 5.7 million shares. Previous low had 5.7 million shares. So you're on your way to 270.82. UNM Group, filling half its gap. Not as much volume as you would think. Gap up 3.2 million shares back on the 5th of February, down today on 1 million shares. So you may get another shot at that one. When we come back, we're going to start looking at some of the ones that didn't fare so badly and see if we can see anything in there.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the Tax Opportunity Zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-Shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Well, we're going to go through as many. First request, though, is this is the winners, or at least not the big losers of the day. So we'll look at these. Verizon Communications VZ. Of course, you've got a little bounce and a little higher out here today. On a horrible day, that is telling you something. You're back into the lows that had 15.6 million shares back on February 4th. Friday, you had 15 million shares. So you had some decent volume today, about 12, but it looks like there's at least some temporary support around these levels. And I guess the one thing you're not going to get SARS or Ebola or coronavirus from is talking on the phone, unless somebody else has been talking on your phone and left some nice virus there for you. Let's see. CBOE, take a quick look at that one. Did open a little lower and it's kind of come back. I guess these guys will be making money hands down with the volatility. Of course, the go-to is Clorox or any of the other kinds of stuff, Procter & Gamble's kind of stuff that people have to buy no matter what. CLX is up strong and has some decent volume. Generally, these come back as soon as the big event has failed, no matter what. CME group up a little bit for the same reason. CMS Energy, just going sideways out here. That's interesting. COG, which is Cabot Oil and Gas, up a little bit. Like I said, there's some kind of sprouts that maybe energy and that sector may be finding some lows here over the next few days. We'll see. But again, I'm not one of these folks that says that you should be buying the close out here today. I think it will take a couple of days. And if there's anybody on the fence, they'll probably do more than necessary to run them out over the next couple of days. When we see that kind of real fear that I don't know if we've really seen yet, take a look at it. Campbell's Soup, again, if you got to have it, got to eat. Probably not a bad stock to be in on a day like this. Dominion Resources, nice pop and went higher here. This thing hadn't blinked into this. Is that right? Yeah. Looking interesting. Dominion Resources. Duke Energy, little pop higher. Didn't hold it. But not as bad as one would think. ETR, Energy, he had 3 candles down. You could look at that as a fairly decent Nissan pattern and the opportunity to come back and retest 135.55. That's the February 19th high. EXR. This is another one. This one had already kind of wiped out, so it may just be too short already. I wouldn't read too much about it. As we said earlier, the big winner chicken dinner is Gilead Sciences because they have the one drug that's useful on it. But again, I don't think that that's a whole lot since from even the WHO, and I'm not talking about the rocket group from the late 60s and early 70s. I'm talking about the World Health Organization saying that you probably shouldn't take the drug unless you're pretty sure that someone's going to die, because you're probably going to live and live like 98% of the time. Genuine Parts Company, any of these companies that are back on with used car business seem to be doing well. This one did, of course, open up much lower, retested the previous low of January 31st this year that had 850,000 shares. You got a little bit more, but man, did it already pop already today. You want to watch that one very closely and how it trades over the next couple of days. Lamb Weston, I don't know much about that one. MKTX, market accesses. Looks like 317.46 is what it wants to test October 2nd, right? MOS, the Mosaic Company. This could be, you had more volume already on February 18th, so you probably want to come down and test the mid-17s on this one. But, you may not get it. Again, anything related to food will probably just go higher until the fear is over. NASDAQ, nice reversal gap down. Of course, a little higher out here today. Almost no volume, though. NEM, of course, on gold. You got to expect it. Not much volume out here, though. In fact, in the last few days, you would have liked to seen a lot more volume. Today, up on about 9.4 million shares, which is pretty good, but you would really like to see a little bit more. Realty Income, he had a huge reversal back on at 84.92 on the 20th. Just kind of going sideways out here now, though. Support does look like 81.44 from the October 31st high, and you are closing above it. Peak, P-E-A-K. Not getting any of that. Let's go to public storage. If the world's going to hell in a handbasket, and everybody will be living in one, so, or at least buying one and downsizing. It was one of the big businesses coming out of the 2008 housing crisis. So a lot of people put their stuff in storage. Anyway, three candles a little higher over the last 3 days, unaffected by this. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals, a nice little pop in this one, REGN. Let's take a quick look at the IBB and see how it is done today. So you gap down, you got volume. This is back into the candle of the 5th of February. That had 7.3 million shares on the way up. And you got 3.4 million shares on the way down. Has done a lot of repair from 118 back to almost 120 before the end of the day for the IBB. SBA, Small Business Association? No, I don't know what that is. SBAC, take a quick look at that. SBA Communications, nothing out here, light volume. I don't think you can make anything about that today, but these are the ones we want to track over the next couple of days. If there is some kind of washout that we get, I think that's it. But I'd be more thinking that we're going to get a sell-off into the close today, probably tomorrow, and maybe even a gap down on Wednesday. And if we hear the screaming, we hear the squealing, then we know that it's time to think about buying. Ventas, VTR, up a little bit up here at 63.10. Had a nice day back on Thursday. That was up on 5.4 million shares. So, some of these are unaffected. Back, we'll come up with the last two. And what we need to do is get ready, because we're going to have some real action, ability to buy some stocks on sale, I think, this week.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best of the best. at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're looking at Microsoft here. It got down to 163.23. It's bounced back up to 175, so quite the range. Of course, when on sale, everybody goes back to the winners of the past. They're not looking for the stocks that will be the next Microsoft, but nothing's new in that field. We're bouncing around negative 90, 91, 92 on the S&P cash. We didn't talk much about the volume because I'm more interested in the volume by the end of the day, but we will talk about that. We got about 7.2 billion shares, so that means we're probably going to do about 10, maybe 10.5 billion shares on the entire market for the CBOE market volumes. If you are new to TFNN or my show, you may want to email me at path@tfnn.com. I'll be glad to share the link for the CBOE volume for you so you can see how these things come in. But, the story, I think I heard it in the first couple of days when I started learning about trading stocks, and that is it's not so much a stock market as a market of stocks. And there's always a bull market somewhere and a bear market somewhere for the sectors and the individual stocks in there. What we have is a unique opportunity over the next few days is to see whether this is something that is bigger and more long-lasting. And if not, which stocks were actually the ones that were priced right, or at least priced accordingly, that didn't blow up, that just weren't full of hot air. So this is, I love these times because generally this is when I learn more about the market than any other time. And it generally means that there are profits to come. Anyway, so when you can, preferably before the day. And yeah, we'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.